Yes, sir, we live. We live and we back. And this is the origins of evil. We covering all bases. We're covering all bases in all spaces. And we back with the origins of evil. You know what I'm talking about? Because a lot of y'all don't know where this shit came from. We ain't just start being on demon time. This shit been going on. You feel me? This shit been going on. And I'm putting it on display today. You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, it's the origins of evil. And I'm showing you why they on demon time. And it ain't no better time than now. Just to bring it out. Just to bring it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm doing this for my loved ones. I'm making myself available. You know what I'm talking about? In all fairness, I'm spreading awareness. Because I know it ain't your fault you wasn't taught. You know what I'm talking about? So yeah, like, share, subscribe. You already know the vibe. We outside. And free all the guys. You understand me? Free all the guys. In all fairness, I'm spreading awareness. You know what I'm talking about? And so you can see these. You see what I got pinned on the screen, and you can go ahead and read it. Well, I'll read it to you. The Legends of the Jews, which is ancient text, right? Certain shit that was removed and hidden from us forever. Some things you may not know. You know what I'm talking about? The devil is on the earth. You feel me? The earth is actually his turf. You know what I'm saying? He's been given dominion to rule. And he motherfucking ruling. You feel me? And they moving. And if y'all didn't know, a lot of these folks don't come from God. They come from the devil. You know what I'm saying? Our people. And usually demons and the devils, they require blood of children. You feel me? So this is how you explain some of the shit that you just can't explain. Some of the shit that don't make sense. Like, why would this bitch do that? Or why would this nigga do that? Well, they come from the devil. You feel me? He's active, and they're pretty active too. You feel me? And we can see that. I'm just gonna read one of these really quick. At this time, Satan in human form appeared, clad in black silk garb, and he cast himself down before the king. Alright? Satan appeared in human shape and advised the king. So we dealing with the devil coming in human form. And he dealing with kings, royalty. Because these certain motherfuckers can tap in and see what he talking about. You feel what I'm saying? Certain motherfuckers, they already dealing with him. You feel me? There's another one. Satan in the guise of the serpent approached her, and the fruit of their union was Cain, the ancestor of all the impious generations that were rebellious towards God and rose up against him. Cain's descent from Satan, who is the angel Samuel. Now, a lot of y'all don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You don't even have no clue on what's being said, which is fine. You'll get there. You'll get there. And like I said, I ain't trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you. So I'm gonna show y'all what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna show y'all what I'm talking about.
A murder trial today. A toddler tortured and sexually abused on Staten Island today. His babysitter was sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison for the crime.
Eyewitness News report.
Now you can just look at this bitch and tell she ain't right in the head. You feel me? But there's thousands of motherfuckers out there right now who you know ain't right in the head, right? Or maybe you don't know because you ain't right in the head. But you can look at this bitch and tell something ain't right. Something ain't right with her. You know what I mean? But it's too late. She killed the baby. She killed her friend baby. You understand me? 17-month-old baby. Tortured. You feel me? Tortured the baby. Only a motherfucker who evil can do that.
trial today. A toddler tortured and sexually abused on Staten Island today. His babysitter was sentenced to more.
Tortured and sexually abused. This is the face. She looked pretty normal to some of y'all, right? Pretty sure some niggas who done ate her pussy, ate her ass, made the bitch feel special. This bitch is the devil. She tortured and sexually assaulted a baby. You hear me? And it could have been prevented, but you ain't tapped in. You know what I'm talking about? You don't know the difference between what's real and what's fake. So you damn sure don't know the difference between an angel and a demon. You feel me? This bitch is a demon. She wasn't just on demon time. She's a demon.
And now to a murder trial today. A toddler tortured and sexually abused on Staten Island today. His babysitter was sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison for the crime.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles, the only TV reporter in New York City inside the courtroom. She's live in the St. George section. Darla.
Bill, Diana, this morning Gloria Fields entered a plea agreement with prosecutors in order to avoid every grisly and vile detail of what was done to Anthony Delgado being detailed in open court. And even though she admitted to everything done to this little boy, the judge still had to force her to go into the courtroom and face the family.
I would never be able to buy Anthony another bag of cheese doodles.
It was just hard to hear, hard to talk about. So painful, the mother of Anthony Delgado had her brother read the victim's impact statement at the sentencing for the woman who tortured her 17-month-old son to death.
I could be wrong, but I think this bitch cracked a smile, so we gonna go back a few seconds. I know how heinous this is, and I know how traumatic this could be, especially for the family. I apologize if anybody's offended by this video, but I ain't trying to scare you, I'm trying to prepare you. And in all fairness, I'm spreading awareness, because there's some people who don't understand what the fuck going on out here. You feel me? They not outside. And even the ones who is, some of them, they so caught up in what they got going on, they can't see. They got ears to hear, but can't hear. And they got eyes to see, but they can't see. So let me see if this is a smile, right? Because we know that they are among us.
So painful, the mother of...
That looks like a smile. She in court trying to hold back the laugh and the smile about this baby being tortured.
Painful.
That's a smile. That's a smile. Not that. We know what that is. She's a grieving grandparent or family member who can't even comprehend this baby being tortured and murdered. But this bitch right here is smiling and trying to stop from laughing. This is the origins of evil. It was that bitch in the garden from the beginning. And these are her descendants.
Hard to talk about. So painful, the mother of...
That's a smile.
Anthony Delgado had her brother read the...
That's ain't no way, in no way, in no how is she trying to hold back from crying. She trying to hold back from laughing, bro. This is some foul shit. They are among you, and they are among us.
So painful.
Stay prayed up, for real. Stay prayed up out here. I'm gonna let this shit play, but these are the origins, and this is officially something that we have to deal with every day, cause I'm just gonna let it play.
The mother of Anthony Delgado had her brother read the victim's impact statement at the of Anthony Delgado had her brother read the victim here. Hard to talk about. So painful, the mother of Anthony Delgado had her brother read the victim's impact statement at the sentencing for the woman who tortured her 17-month-old son to death.
I do not understand in what world it might be acceptable to ever allow an individual who not only... I'm just going to end that there. I can't read that part.
The thoughts are haunting what this sweet little boy endured back in 2016. Over a 3-day period, his head was slammed on the floor. He was shaken, even sexually assaulted. 32-year-old Gloria Fields pled guilty to first-degree murder Tuesday morning, but refused to enter the courtroom if she was going to be filmed. She didn't want to come out today. What was that about?
She thought that she complied with the judge's order. The judge said that she had to cooperate with probation, that she had to not get arrested and show up, and she believed show up meant in the courthouse.
To me, that was being like a coward. You wouldn't face the people who you've affected.
The family applauded as Supreme Court Judge Wayne Ozzie imposed the sentence. But before he did, he said, "This is the most disturbing case I've ever presided over. I was watching you as Mr. Delgado gave his statement. You showed no emotion. It just confirms my belief that you're just depraved in some way."
Justice was served. Anthony got justice, and that's all that matters to us.
Now, Fields opted not to address the family at all during her sentencing today. Again, she was sentenced to 23 years to life. Judge Ozzie noting that she's only eligible for parole after 23 years, so she could serve a much longer sentence.
He says justice was served, but I don't believe justice was served. They should have gave this bitch the death penalty. She took a life. She took the life of an innocent child. You understand me? The bitch should have got the death penalty. Straight up. We have another evil bitch who came from the devil, one of the descendants of the devil, and her womb is cursed. She can bring forth nothing but evil. You feel me? And that's what it is. And that's what it was. And she killed a baby. Remember, these demons, they require the blood of a baby. And that's what they're getting. And they're getting it through who? Well, let's see.
On Friday at 2:30 in the afternoon, a young pregnant woman was murdered and then had the baby cut out of her by a friend. Angelique Sutton was 8.5 months pregnant before she was allegedly murdered by 22-year-old Ashley Wade, pictured here. Shocked relatives said Wade was a school friend of Sutton's.
Her friend. In all of these cases, it's a friend. You see, because those are the people who you trust around your children, your quote-unquote friends. It was a friend who she trusted with her baby, who killed her baby, cut it out of her stomach or out of her vagina, killed her and tried to cut her baby out of her vagina. This is what they doing.
Ashley Wade, pictured here. Shocked relatives said Wade was a school friend of Sutton's. Officials said the deranged woman fatally stabbed the newborn's 22-year-old mother, then yanked the child from the dying woman inside her apartment on Monticello Avenue in Wakefield. Bronx Councilman Andy King said cops told him the baby was surgically removed by the perpetrator. Police said Wade's boyfriend, who called 911 after walking into the blood-spattered apartment, was also being questioned Friday evening. Sources said when first responders arrived, Wade claimed that the blood-soaked baby was hers. She was taken to Jacobi Medical Center for psychiatric evaluation. Sutton, who had just graduated from St. John's with a criminal justice degree, lived with her two sisters as she awaited her baby's arrival on December 2nd. The baby, little Genesis, was expected to survive.
The baby name was Little Genesis. Ain't that something? You might think some of this shit is fake, but it's not. This is a whole nother bitch with a whole nother friend trying to cut the baby. Not trying to cut the baby out, cutting the baby out. Killing her mama, killing the friend, and cutting out the baby. This is you would think that they would connect the dots at some point, right? I'm sure the feds is all over this, and they're seeing what's going on. There's clearly some demonic shit going on, and nobody seems to give a fuck about, because it's happening with us, right? So they don't care. Somebody gotta care. You know what I mean? Somebody gotta care.
We did. We got got justice.
Bishop Sutton forces a smile outside the Bronx courthouse minutes after a judge sentenced his pregnant daughter's killer to prison.
On the day Angelica Sutton, 8.5 months pregnant, was to be married, defendant viciously stabbed her to death and then methodically excised Angelica's uterus from her body, carefully cut the baby out of the uterus, leaving Angelica to bleed to death.
A jury convicted 23-year-old Ashley Wade of the November 2015 murder of Angelica Sutton and the kidnapping of her unborn baby, who police say Wade passed off as her own child until her arrest.
I'm sorry for hurting so many people. I wish I knew.
My bad. That was the same. That was the same story. I'll find that other one. I got it. I definitely got it. But we're gonna keep the show going. This right here was this the lady who had her kids in a freezer. Straight fucking savage. And like the other case, she showed no remorse. She showed no emotion at all. Took the lives of children, put them in the motherfucking freezer. It's like the lady who put her baby in the microwave. And I can show y'all her too. You know what I'm saying? These are our melanated queens out here, man. Queen of the damn.
Mother, stop. Mother, mother, listen to me.
I had to beg you to come sit down. Did you for real?
Mother, listen to me.
No matter how much you lie or how your lawyers lie,
Mother.
you know the fucking truth, and it will be proved. Matthew and Gabby will clearly say.
Are you done, Mother? Listen to me. This is a civil case. It's not a criminal case. We can and we will do it without you.
I never
We
tried to
will
say I
do it
didn't. I
without
did
you.
it, but that does not negate the fact that they were never there for their children. I had to struggle with them all the time. They were never there.
You get
Steven,
your
you
chance.
know we had to beg you. Me, Steven, all of us used to cry for you, nigga.
You're not going to be able to
I'm
stay,
good.
Mother.
Come
There
here.
are rules.
Sick of this shit. I'm good, man. I'm good.
If you have
Pictures just into our newsroom shows us the deplorable conditions Michelle Blair forced her children to live in.
But today, the medical examiner also revealed heartbreaking details about how Blair allegedly tortured her children before killing them. 7 Action News reporter Kimberly Craig is live in Detroit right now with details for us. Kim?
And Carolyn and Glenda, you talk about heartbreaking. This is probably one of the hardest cases I've had to sit through in my 20 years of reporting. And it was so sad to hear the medical examiner talk about how these children had been beaten and were so grossly malnourished, even the court reporter could be seen wiping away tears. These are photographs taken from inside the townhouse where investigators say Michelle Blair tortured her children and killed 2 of them. We're told she first killed her 9-year-old son, Steven, in August of 2012 and then shoved his body in this freezer. About a year later, Blair is accused of killing her 13-year-old daughter, Stony, and putting her body on top of Steven's.
Both had been slapped in the face. Both of them had chipped teeth, and both of them had actual tears in the mucous membrane of the inner aspect of the lip.
Dr. Carl Schmidt from the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office says it took 2 days to thaw the children's bodies before he could examine them, and what he found was nothing short of horrifying. On 13-year-old Stony, he says the blows to her head were too many to count.
And actually the entire scalp was suffused with hemorrhage, which meant that she had received numerous impacts over the head.
And then there's 9-year-old Steven, who we're told had countless burns all over his body.
When we see patterns, burn patterns like this, it means that there was some kind of object with 4 parallel lines which left the brand. It's like branding. You left that pattern on the skin.
In In this custody trial, the state is trying to terminate Michelle Blair's parental rights to her 2 surviving children, as well as their father's rights. The state calling them deadbeat dads who rarely saw or even called to check in on their children to see if they were okay. Before he found out his son had been killed, it had been 5 years since Stephen Berry had seen his son Stephen. Berry was locked up for a couple of those years, but he was released from prison in the spring of 2013. And he says Michelle Blair only let him see their youngest son and told him Stephen was mad at him. What he didn't know was that Stephen was already dead.
I didn't speak to him at all after my incarceration.
Why?
Because I was told that he was mad at me for not contacting him or, being there.
And that just adds to the heartache for these children. They had been dead for 2 to 3 years, and not even their own fathers fought to see them or even talk to them. But now they are blaming, apparently, CPS, Child Protective Services, for not removing the children in 2005 when CPS actually found and determined there to be abuse in the house. One of the fathers, Carolyn tells me, the father of Stony Blair, says he now plans on suing the state. Back to you.
Kim, real quick, we just saw her sitting there stone-faced, no outbreaks today. She seemed so violent and volatile yesterday when she was in that courtroom.
She had a couple of outbursts. Really, they were rather ridden with expletives, so we couldn't really, it would have been a lot of beeping going on. But nothing as violent as yesterday, but you can see when she is sitting there and when she is listening to testimony that she is angry. She is very angry. She still maintains that she has love for her 2 surviving children. She says she will always be their mother, but she does not acknowledge the life or death of the 2 dead children. Back to you.
A side note, this TV reporter bitch gonna say that they didn't even fight for or whatever the fuck. I could be wrong. I apologize, lady. But this is what a lot of times niggas have to deal with, and you want a nigga to fight for his kids, fight a demon bitch. You want a nigga to fight a motherfucker who willing to go as far as kill their own fucking kids? Are y'all crazy? And this is a large percentage of demon possessed from demon semen and a cursed womb, and they ain't even know it. Man, but I'm out of here. Like, share, subscribe. You already know the vibe. We outside. Free all the guys. I ain't trying to scare you. I'm trying to prepare you. And in all fairness, I'm spreading awareness. It's fair use. Giving my critique, my commentary, and I'm teaching. You know what I'm talking about? Each one teach one so we can reach one. You hear me? And I'm out of here.